I had what I think is the most patient and loving woman in the world. But even the most patient and loving woman in the world will get to a point where she can't take it anymore. If you're a business owner and you ever felt guilty taking time for yourself while your family really needs you, then this video is for you. Because 4 months ago, I was at work in the business, the employees, the clients, the kids, the wife, everyone and everything took my attention. And I can't think of a time when I just spent time by myself like 6, 7, or even 10 days in a row. It's actually what I'm doing right now. I'm filming this from Bangkok in Thailand, where I'm visiting my dad and brother who both live here. And it's awesome. And I'm feeling really good about myself. However, this came at a super high price. And in my case, it was actually the separation from my wife and in part from my kids. And if you're watching this and you're married right now and you own a business, you run a business, and you're doing the hustle, and you're always available for everyone, and you're not taking care of your own needs enough, then you must watch this video. Because the thing is, if you don't take the time to really reflect and also maybe missing your wife, which is a good thing, but you can't know it unless you spend time by yourself, then you run into problems. And the thing is, I thought I was in a very safe relationship and a safe marriage. I had what I think is the most patient and loving woman in the world. But even the most patient and loving woman in the world will get to a point where she can't take it anymore if you do what I did. Because I was so stressed at work sometimes. I came home with a lot of anxiety and things that happened at work, clients doing stupid shit. And I took it home, and I actually needed my wife to be there to help me go through these things. But it's actually not a good thing to do, because if you're a man, you have to have your shit together, really. And it's better not to talk too much about work at home and find ways to resolve most things by yourself. Because if you don't, then something might happen to you that happened to me. Because at some point your wife might say, you know what, I've had it. How about we try separation? I'm sick of taking care of the kids and doing all this work, and then you come home and you load all your shit onto me. That's really not the way to go. And the thing is, if I had taken out time by myself to go on a trip like this earlier, I might still be married today. And you might be thinking, well, nothing of that is going to happen to me because I'm in a safe marriage and everything is awesome. Well, I encourage you to be really honest, because if I am honest, I put so much attention on work, achievement, hitting goals, that I wasn't really thinking about the time I needed to invest with my family, especially with my wife, to have a really good and thriving relationship, because I didn't have that. And so what happened is, at some point my wife said, okay, I've had it, this is it. And something happened that surprised me in many ways, because the first 2 weeks I've been living in my office for 4 months now. And in the first 2 weeks, I felt such a sense of relief that it was incredible. I didn't talk about what's happening at work with my wife. All of a sudden, I had all this time by myself in the morning, in the evening. I could digest things. I could go to the gym. I could call my brother. I could call friends. And I found these many ways how to deal with the stress that were still happening without needing my wife for that. And my big epiphany was that I should have done this all along while I was still married. You know, and if you're doing the marriage thing and the work thing, and you think that marriage and work are your only two things you care about, then I think you might be in a trap. If I had realized this, I would have started to meet friends, talk with them a lot more, and really separate things a lot more. Because, you know, when you mix everything, like you have a business, you have kids, maybe your wife works with you in the business, this is like a really risky setup. And from all that I know now, these types of marriage are destined to at one point break down, because everything is mixed. There's no separation anymore between where does friendship stop, where does it start, where does the romantic relationship start, where does the business come. It's all mixed, and it's a big, big danger. And so I encourage you to really reflect on your own life and where you're standing as a business owner, entrepreneur. And if you're coming home and you're not present with your kids and you're thinking about escape all the time, because I was doing that because I didn't fulfill my need for variety, my need to travel. I didn't do all of that for 6 years. And in part it's understandable because kids require certain sacrifices. But I think in my case, it was a lot of sacrifice because I burnt myself up in the business, earning all that money and going for all these goals. And then I came home, I felt stressed, I wasn't present. And so what I did, and I think many people do this, I was on my phone constantly. And it's really, really a stupid idea, but I didn't know any better because my mind was, I was away. I was not there. And I should have taken the time to really go away for at least some time and make it happen. So if you're also feeling that, you're coming home and you're on your cell phone all the time, for example, I can only say that's not a good way to deal with it. You need to somehow find ways to deal with it differently. For example, what you could do is, what I should have done, is really talk with your wife about how you can get away for some time, involve your own parents, your wife's dad and mom, and to take care of the kids, whatever. Find a fucking way to get away. Because if you don't, it's going to be a mess. And if I'm really honest, the first few weeks after we were separated, started to realize that the relationship had gone bad months or maybe even years ago already. And that's something that really amazed me because I wasn't really aware of that. I didn't want to accept that truth. As humans, I think we're amazing creatures at thinking everything is all right while it's really not. So if you're watching this, you're feeling stressed out, you're not fulfilled at work, that's another big thing, and I'll record another video about that one because it's so important. If you're not fulfilled at work, you feel stressed with kids, you don't have enough time by yourself, then the first thing I encourage you to do is take my quiz. I developed a really nice quiz, some bunch of questions, they're really easy to answer. At the end, you'll get a score from 0 to 100, and you'll know how much of a risk you are of either breaking your marriage or your business. And so you get the score from 0 to 100, and you know exactly which areas you should probably be working on to close the gaps. And if you're interested, you can also leave your email and I'll keep you posted when I record a new video. Thanks for watching and looking forward to seeing you in the next video.